please read this disclaimer carefully before proceeding further. Welcome traders. Let's find out what's happening with Bitcoin. Okay, so in this analysis, I'm not going to actually talk about the fundamental side of it, but I'll try to stick to more technical side of it because on charts we can see what has happened and what is the possibility of happening just by looking at the technical analysis. I'm not going to look at I'm not going to try to give you a value that Bitcoin is going to go to 300,000 or something like that. Okay, so far technically it is possible to analyze this chart, and that's what I'm going to stick to. Okay, so this is what we have. I posted a couple of Bitcoin analysis in recent past, and one of them actually did not work because you see the pattern was there, but obviously market did not respect that. That's fine, because anything can happen in the market, right? Remember, if US oil can go to negative, then this can also go to 100,000, 300,000, 400,000, or even go to zero again, right? Nobody thought that US oil, a huge commodity, a very important commodity, will ultimately go to negative or near zero, right? So anything can happen in the market, right? We are all assessing the probabilities and possibilities, and that's it. Okay, so there was a good possibility that market was going to come to this zone and fall from there, and this can still happen. If the market actually closes below this FCP zone, then we are still looking at these targets because the pattern will still be valid. So this is not a failure as of now, just another possibility which has got extended. So because the market created an extended W pattern now here, I posted this and this worked out perfectly fine. So the updated idea was that this FCP zone, which had three very important Fibonacci based factors and few other momentum based factors available in this FCP zone, and this is on weekly time frame, as you can see here. So we had to wait for a week before we could see any impact of that. Market went a little bit higher, it got overstretched, which is fine, and then it started to fall down right from that FCP zone, and we were able to take short positions. This is pretty much like what we did with gold. If you have been following my analysis, we did the same thing with gold as well. Actually in the month of August. Let me quickly find that if I can. Okay, it's not gold. I was doing it on XAUSD, so okay, I'm not able to find that, but let me actually show you most recent one. So we took short on gold right from the top, which was 2070 level. Okay, so somewhere around here. So we analyzed it around here at 2070. A huge W pattern was forming, it fell down, and then market started to go back up to create another bull trap, and this is where we took another short positions, and we were taking short and long positions all the way long, and so far it has reached its final potential target. Now when you are standing here at the top, right, and when you assess this possibility and you present that possibility that market can fall down like this, a huge fall, right? Remember, there was a huge parabolic move on gold, and then there was a straight fall. Okay, and we are looking at daily time frame here. And when you present this possibility standing here at the top, most of the people won't actually agree to that. But as an analyst or as a technical person, you need to assess all the possibilities, both bullish and both bearish side of it. At this point in time, it was clearly bearish. I'm bullish on gold long term, but I cannot lie to myself by looking at that pattern saying that I'll still buy from here. No. I will go for a short, and since then I've been short, taking few longs here, but I've been short. Recent short was around here, and this is where I said more sell-off was coming, and since then it has been falling, and from here it can bounce up or whatever. We'll see that in gold analysis. So if you're not following me, follow me on social channels, on TradingView and YouTube and other places, and you'll find update on gold as well. But this is the ultimate target. If the market starts to fall, then this is going to be there. Why I'm telling you is this, because the same pattern keeps on repeating, and every time it happens, most of the emotional traders, they start to talk about an all-time high and all that. Yes, there is always a possibility. Gold could have done that, it can still do that, Bitcoin can do that, anything can do that, but you need to think objectively. Okay, so let me actually start with 1 year time frame on Bitcoin, okay, just to give you a very high level perspective. So we have initial high, which was in 2017. We all know about that. Since then the market fell down, and you see this was a deep correction which actually created, which went near about 70 to 80% deep, okay. And then it tried again, reached this particular level, then fell down with near about 40 to 50%, even more than that actually, correction. So you see, the history tells us that this market is actually susceptible to huge and deep corrections. It rises high, but it falls high as well. It falls low as well, okay. So if I go to the monthly time frame, this is what we have, pretty much like what we had on gold. Let me actually start comparing it with other factors, so that what I'm trying to do is actually give you an unbiased view. Like, I'm trying to show you what can happen, right? If you are in there, if you're interested in Bitcoin, then you should be objectively be looking at both sides of the same factor. I know that if you're bullish, you could be targeting 100,000 or 300,000 or whatever. If you trust those blogs, if you trust those banks, then you could be looking at some of those targets. But those are the same people who were saying exactly the same thing about gold in month of August of 2020, that they were saying that it was going to go to 5,000 or 7,000, and I read some place they were actually looking for 15,000 gold by the end of 2020, which obviously has not happened. Again, it's a possibility that it can happen again, and Bitcoin also can go higher. But to assess the probability, what you can do is only read the past data, compare it with what has happened and what can happen. So let's go to the gold, okay. So on gold, if I show you the data, there was a pattern here like this. So we had a W pattern here. Gold went to near about all-time high. It went a little bit higher, but it went a little bit higher because of different pattern. It's a different variation of W pattern, that's why it went higher, and there is a possibility of happening that in Bitcoin as well. But you see, nothing keeps on going higher all the time, right? It needs to take a break. And at this point in time, when I posted that idea, I'll put a link of that in this video as well. When I posted that idea that gold was going to go down, nobody believed that, but it is falling down because it needs to take a correction if it wants to go higher, okay. So that's one of the possibilities. Then another possibility that I've been actually talking to all of my followers was this one. Look at this USD CAD, okay. This is again similar sort of thing, again similar sort of W pattern, a different variation, but it's a W pattern. When the market was around here, everybody was so bullish on USD CAD that this was actually going to go high to all-time high, or a multi-year high, because you see, the last time it was near about that level was in June 2003, and after that it was in 2015, okay. So but since then, what has happened? It has been falling, right? So anything can happen. So if this can happen to USD CAD, if this can happen to gold, it can also happen to BTCUSD. I'm not saying that it will happen, but it can, okay. So you'll have to be careful with that. So how are you going to take long on this? You'll have to wait for a correction, a proper correction. Once you have got a correction, then you can add to that. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for this previous high to be invalidated. Basically, if the market actually breaks through this previous high, gives a retest, then you can go for a short long trade, okay. That's your long opportunity. So what's happening right now? We have this W pattern right there, and which you can see right here, and that's why the market is falling, okay. Another thing is that this was reaching a particular point which was very high, and at that point in time it was losing its momentum, and this was actually indicated in our envisage indicator. So in our group, I posted this, that Bitcoin early warning sign was coming when the Bitcoin was still around 18,876. I said that early warning was coming, and then this is different one. Then I said that we are waiting for second confirmation now, because first warning was definitely fixed now, and this was going to go down, and we were waiting for next warning, which was color change around this, and then the color changed, and we got the signal, and since then it has been falling, and ultimately we got our final target, which is going to be somewhere around here, So this is our final target, and that is around 14,000 something like that. Okay, so if it starts to go up, that's fine, because market keeps on going up and down, but ultimately we are looking for something around 14,000. But there is another target. If you are actually using Fibonacci to measure this, then you have an even bigger target for short position. And I'm not just talking about short positions, these are the levels where you want to look for a healthy correction to add to your long position if you're looking for something like that. Okay, so let's start looking at that. So first of all, let me remove all these drawings and then start measuring. So because if it is a W pattern, then we are looking for a move into this, and let me quickly change the template of it. Okay, so we are looking for something like this level, which is going to be 15,592, and we are also looking for something like, yeah, so near about 15,592. So this is my zone. So anywhere between 16,000 to this level is going to be my zone, and then I'm also looking for similar level, so near about 15,766. so this is the level, and this is very easily, very quickly our FCP zone. Okay, there are specific rules for FCP zone, not just this, there is a lot more involved in here, so do not just rely on this, but that's what I'm looking for. So if I'm going long, then this is the level that I should be looking at minimum. Okay, but what you will notice that Bitcoin also has few gaps left around 11,000, somewhere around here, and there is one around here as well. Okay, near about 7,600. so if I draw fib on here, what do I see? I see that it's close to 78.6, right? And if I draw something like this, then that's near about 50%. Okay, so these are also lining up nicely with Fibonacci ratios. So what do we do? What we're looking for is the market may actually go back up and then create another bull trap or so before it comes down to 16,000 or even less than that, into 15,592 or something like that. Then there'll be another push higher, and if another push happens, then we'll have to be very careful, because in that case it can start to go even higher than the previous one. It can go to 20,000. Even at this point it can start to rise to go to 20,000, but I will not be taking a long here. I will be only interested in short, because as I mentioned, in gold we are at the top and we are only looking at the short for now. I'm not going to add into my position until it reaches this level. I'm not going to start or add to my long position until it reaches this level. Once it has done that, I'll be looking for this level as my next level. Okay, and then this is going to be another level. So these levels are very, very crude levels at the moment, because I need to perform a proper analysis, which is obviously not available here in the public domain. That will be available to students, but this is my crude way of doing the analysis here. And why I'm actually going for a short, why I actually posted this, I'll tell you the reason behind that. The reason behind that is because there is a very good W pattern here. Most of the people were actually looking at this structure. Whoever has knowledge of W patterns, they were looking at this structure, but actually I am looking for this one. And there is another one which is here. Okay, so you need to combine all of that to find the proper analysis. You need to combine all of that. Okay, so that's what's happening. Let's look at the daily time frame. On daily time frame, what's happening right now is that we had a huge fall. Remember the gold one? We initially had a huge fall, then market started to go up to basically create a sort of bull trap here, and then it started to fall back down, and it kept on falling for months. So that's again another possibility. So if I go here and look at the daily 4-hour time frame, this is where the 200 SMA is right there in that zone. You see that is actually a very good confluence with our FCP zone that we found. Okay, so that's what we are looking for. If the market actually starts to go down, then that can be a very good place. Let me actually bring that up. Okay, so this is the FCP zone. Okay, so this is FCP zone. Now, so what do we need to do? You see the market is actually creating an M pattern, and that's why it is going up, right? So if it is actually going up, let's draw Fibonacci on it to see what it is trying to do. It has come to 88.6 here after completing a 50%, and which basically means that it can go up to next Fibonacci level, which is going to be 38.2. so, and it has already done that once. Now it is trying to do it again. The maximum it can go up to is near about this level. So this is my FCP zone. Okay, I'll be very careful with this level as well, 18,777, because if that is actually broken, then we can look for another another high. But I'll be looking at this. So if the market actually starts to go down, then I'll be looking for a short position into this. Okay, if the market starts to go beyond this, then we're looking for a position into this area. So this is another FCP zone. And if the market actually, and then once we are there, I'll be looking for a short position back into this, and then this. So we use these levels as levels to take profits or find new positions to, like, basically get in or get out, right? Now you can also notice that we also have a W pattern getting created, right? So if I draw something like this here, it has come to 38.2, which means that market can actually go all the way to this level, which is also the previous structural level, and that will also give bulls a kind of, like, sense of relief that the market is going to go even higher. But that may or may not happen. Let me actually bring in gold once again, because the best thing that you can do is read these patterns and see what has happened. You see huge fall, then went back up, right? So this is near about 61.8 and near about 78.6, and it depends on individual structure. But you see, after initial fall, the market usually goes back up to create even further bull trap, and since then it has been simply falling. And in this region you could have placed several long and short trades, with short trades as your favorites, because the market is expected to go down anyway, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So this thing is still pending. Market currently right now is doing something around here, so this is still pending. That can happen, but you see from here also it will go down a little bit and then can start to go back up. So go back to BTC. So right now what it is trying to do is simply this. It is right there at that point, and a new upward move somewhere around here is expected if it actually breaks through this 17,454. If that happens, then it will start to go up. Otherwise it will come down into 15,000 or so, and once that zone is broken, then we'll be looking for 13,000 level, and then 11,000, then 9,000, and then ultimately 7,600. Okay, so this is what we have on Bitcoin here. Let's look at the WATA. So on WATA, what it is trying to do right now, the monthly time frame, if I go show a monthly time frame, this color was changed from red to green, red to blue, and there was an indication. That's why the market was supposed to come to this target, which has obviously reached. It has gone past that. And now on weekly time frame, we see that we are still bullish. So the market hasn't actually changed the color yet. We are still bullish, so that's why the market may push up, and it may take a couple of weeks before it starts to, like, show us any kind of indication that it wants to go down, but it can. And then if I go to the daily time frame, this is where the indication came. The color changed from blue to red, and then we had color change here. Then we had a huge fall, and this is ultimately the profit target, 14,497, which is looking for in water. But we know that this can actually do better with our own FCP analysis, and you will notice that there are several gaps which has been left in Bitcoin. So one of them is somewhere around here, right here. So this is 11,000 gap right there. And people who do not actually believe in the gap theory is actually, I do not believe it in gap theory myself, but what you need to do is you need to assess what the market has been doing, what that particular market has been doing. And if you look at Bitcoin, it has been filling all the gaps which were available in the history. So this move has closed all the gaps. There have been few gaps around here. So if it has been filling all the gaps, then there is a good chance that it can come back down to fill those gaps before it starts to go and create all-time high, or even like it can create a little bit of all-time high and then fall back to fill those gaps and then go all the way to moon, as they say. So if I go to the 4-hour, what it is trying to do, it has turned into bearish. You see, it has turned bearish for the first time here. So I'll be looking for short positions only, and it is looking to go and test this level, which is 18,000 level. And if I draw Fibonacci here, this is nearby 50%, so it can go a little bit higher, which is 61.8, and that is where our FCB zone is, which is around 18,000. However, we have to be very, very careful with this, because as you know, the behavior of Bitcoin is such like that it just like goes massively, like it starts to fall massively and it starts to go up massively without taking any breaks. So you have to be very, very careful, irrespective of where you want to be, whether you want to be on long side or short side. There is another important thing that I would like to mention, is that this level, which is very, 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 very important, and I'm not sure whether actually many people are paying attention to this level, which is 77164, which is the previous high of this particular leg. This is kind of deciding factor. Right now it is struggling to stay above that. Okay, so as soon as the market will go below this and has a proper confirmation that it wants to stay below this, you will see that the market may not be able to come back again. So this is a deciding factor here. So right now it will try to struggle around here, just consolidate around this level, maybe consolidation for a few weeks or months, as well as gold did around 1928. In gold there was an important level called 1928. Let me show you that again. Sorry, I keep on going towards that, but that's the best way of learning. So 1928, 1921 is around here, but 1928 was somewhere around here, right? And look at this, the average, on average, that 1928 became like a point where the market kept on going up and down from. So 1928 was somewhere around there. This is the level. Let me actually do something like this. This is 1928. You see how many times it was tested, right? And so in every market, in every move, there is an important level like this. People use all these terms like key levels and all that. Those are actually not the key levels. You'll have to study the market behavior before you can actually say that that is a key level. So this is going to be a key level in Bitcoin. What is that? 17164. If the market will keep on going up and down around here, but once it has decided, it will not stop there. It will start to go down, or it will start to move up from that level. Okay, so this is an extended view of what's happening on Bitcoin. This is just my thoughts. I'm trying to give you an alternate thinking. I'm not trying to go and just agree with what they are saying on news items or blogs or social media and all those places, right? And you'll have to be a little bit of alternate thinker to make money in the market, because financial markets are not black and white. When they say that it is going to go to 300,000, they need to provide a data. It's not without a data, right? You cannot just put a figure out there. They were saying all these figures when it was rising in 2017 as well. So it may or may not happen again, but you must not believe, or you must not trust all of that. You need to stay consistent with your approach. If you want to believe them, then go and do your own research. Find a way of doing your own research. Find a way to justify how it can go all the way to that level. What is that, right? How it can be possible, because there are going to be several factors involved in things like this. It's not just you cannot just push this thing by saying that, because of one fundamental factor or two fundamental factors, this is going to go up. You need to consider a lot more than that. And all the smart people, all smart investors, including billionaires and trillionaires, they are also looking at this. They are aware of Bitcoin. They are looking at the power of cryptocurrencies. But why they are not directly getting involved in this, even though they look at the power of this? There has to be some kind of reason, right? And recently Facebook actually started a Libra project, but they had to shelve it. And today, actually this morning, I got a news feed that they are looking at Libra once again. Now, if they are going to create their own currencies, cryptocurrencies, and I've been talking about this for last 5 or 6 years, that all these big corporations, if they create their own currency, such as Google comes up with its own, Amazon has Amazon coins. In fact, actually Amazon started their own project, and they could be working in behind the scenes on their own cryptocurrency. And Facebook is openly working on Libra currency. So if these big corporations actually start their own cryptocurrency, then where does it leave you with, how does that actually fit into your picture, your Bitcoin picture, how Bitcoin is going to behave if all these big competitors actually start to come in. Okay, so do not just rely on everything which is out there. Start to make your own intelligent and informed decisions. And my effort here and this analysis was to show you from technical point of view what can happen, what is expected, and hopefully you found it useful and educational. If you did, make sure that you hit the like button and put in a comment. If you have anything any comments, any feedbacks, or if you think completely different, if you have any kind of arguments, make sure that you put that into the comment section and we'll discuss that openly, right? Okay, thank you. If you're interested in learning how to analyze the markets the way I do using Fibonacci Confluence, then head over to wikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see Core Strategy Training Program. On this page you'll be able to see the testimonials of previous students and also look at the brochure. The brochure has a lot more information, including the course structure and the Fibonacci Confluence Training Program curriculum. This is a very extensive program in which we cover basic core Fibonacci concepts along with the advanced concepts to analyze the markets with high probability. If you're interested in joining this program, come to wikinsa.com, and under training section you'll be able to see and submit this form.